Hello again. So this is the second repeat episode in part of this current suite of repeats that I'm doing this week. Imaginary Advice won the Best Fiction category at the British Podcasts Awards this month. So here on the show, I thought I'd repeat a couple of my favourite stories from the first couple of years of the show. This is from the first year of the podcast. If you haven't heard it before, I hope you like it. Thanks for listening.
Imaginary Advice.
Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Baldwin cast. I'm your host, Jim Leggett. Once a week, I'll be here discussing the cinematic work of a group of brothers. Possibly the most famous group of brothers in film, the Baldwins. Youngest to oldest, that's Stephen Baldwin, William, Billy Baldwin, Daniel Baldwin, and of course most famous of the Baldwin brothers, Alec Baldwin. Film by film, we're going to be dropping in on the Baldwins at different times in their lives, crossroads, crisis points, breakthroughs. So slowly, hopefully, my aim is to build up a kind of living portrait of the Baldwin family, both on and off the screen. I think my ultimate goal is to explore the question of what does it mean to be a Baldwin, and I want to start by trying to identify those key films that try to... Hey! Sorry. I've just woken up my wife. Sorry, just bear with me as I Okay, downstairs now. I'm going to take the best part of an hour to set up everything in my son's bedroom, but apparently I was just louder than when he's not in his bedroom, I should say. He's in Valencia, my son, all grown up, kids of his own actually. The wife, Anna, she's Italian, she's lovely. 2 kids, Arthur, 4, and Rosa, she's just turned 2 now, I think. I've only seen photos of the weeing, but, well, she looks as lovely as her mum. Okay, took a little refreshment break there, but now I'm all set up again at the kitchen table. I'm just going to keep talking, and I'm going to worry about editing all of this later. We should be okay down here. The microphone I'm using, it's excellent. I don't need to talk too loud for it to, It was a retirement gift, actually, which I made to myself. I wanted to do something for me. It's a lovely thing. It cost enough. It's a lovely thing. The Baldwins have had a lot of iconic roles over the years. Stephen in The Usual Suspects, of course, William in Flatliners, Alec in Glengarry Glen Ross. But it's not just about the big hitters on the Baldwin cast. Alec does tend to hog the limelight. But I promise this isn't going to turn into the Alec Baldwin cast. No, I really want to treat all 4 brothers equally. That's very important to me, particularly when there are so many great Baldwin roles that just seem to be completely unknown to the general public. One Tough Cop, Double Tap, 9 Dead, Art Heist, Slapshot 2, The Craigslist Killer, Stripperland. Okay, so I just had to pause the recording again there just to check the car. There was a noise coming from out front. Don't worry, I'm back now. We had a wing mirror smashed off a little while back. I think it was just kids, messing about. They do tend to gather here because of the fields. It's just nice and dark at this end of the street. No street lights, you see. So you can understand it's hard not to react when you hear a noise. So I went outside, but didn't seem to be... ideally, of course, I wouldn't be recording this in the middle of the night, but when you reach my age, you don't... that was one of the inspirations for starting the Baldwin cast in the first place. I like to keep busy at night, and that way I can keep one eye on the car, just in case. Welcome. Good evening. No, hang on, because it might not be night where you are. Salutations and welcome to the Baldwin Cast. I'm your host, Jim Leggett. We're going to be kicking off our podcast series with a review of the film Backdraft from 1991, starring William Baldwin as the young firefighter trying to prove his worth in the tough Chicago Fire Department. Now, I have always known that Backdraft would be my way into this podcast series because, I believe the Backdraft sums up an essential part of what it means to be a Baldwin. After all, William Baldwin's character, Brian McCaffrey, is a person who has grown up his entire life in the shadow of a more successful older brother, Stephen Bull McCaffrey, played in this instance by Kurt Russell. So you can see the significance is right there on the surface. I mean, these particular brothers are both firemen, of course. They're not brothers who are actors, but of course they are also actors because they're actors that are playing firemen. What I mean is that there are parallels between the world of that story, Backdraft, and William's struggles as an actor, as a brother, not acting in a role as a brother, but as a brother in real life, being a brother to the Baldwins in real life. I think what I'm trying to say is, okay, so I'm back. I think I last turned on the recorder back in July. Was it? I mean, a bit of a false start, but here we go. Welcome back to episode 1 of the Baldwin Cast. Episode 1, reviewing the film Backdraft. I think now that the nights are a little cooler, I think this is going to be much, much easier. I know Terence has been a little bit sick. He's our cat, but he's better now, aren't you, Terence? I must admit, I've also been in the wars a little bit, had a bit of a fall, spent a bit of time in hospital, nothing serious. I was just trying to pin a photo onto the notice board in the kitchen, nice family photo taken at my son's wedding. Next thing I know, pain down my side, I end up lying on the floor. I mean, bit of a mess, if I'm honest, but I had a lot of thinking time in hospital, time to think about the future and to think about what's important to me. Time enough, in fact, for me to plan out the first 50 Baldwin Cast episodes, and I must say it is looking pretty exciting. So I think it's just coming up to midnight here. I just have to... Hang on one second. Okay, I'm back, sorry about that. I think I must have first become a fan of the Baldwins after seeing a picture of them all together in a magazine. I remember thinking, like, my God, it's like looking at 4 versions of the same person if they all made slightly different decisions in their life. And I must admit, I have always loved that idea, that somehow at every major crossroads we reach, we create a parallel universe of some kind. One version of us goes one way, and one version of us goes the other. I mean, you could say, if you wanted to, that when I had my funny turn back in the summer, that was me splitting into 2 people, and one of those people died, and the other survived, and I'm the one that survived, which is nice. Then again, there's probably another version of me that never had that stroke in the first place because they took better care of themselves when they were growing up. Now we could call that the William Baldwin timeline instead of the Daniel Baldwin timeline. See, I've been thinking recently about a group photo with, like, if you can imagine, with like 4 different versions of me, just so I could see, like what kind of difference it would have made if I just laid off the booze a bit, or to see what would have happened if I'd just gone a bit harder, pushed it all the way from Daniel Baldwin all the way into Stephen Baldwin. Maybe one of me would have found God. Who knows? But anyway, that's the rough background to the Baldwin Cast. I see the Baldwins as one person, but one person that went in 4 directions. I mean, roughly the same direction as actors, but have now headed out further and further away from each other. I mean, they're still the same person, but a person telling different stories. And you could say those stories are the films that they make. And if you add the films together, that makes the story of your life, which is different, but I mean, effectively the same person, the Baldwins. Okay. So this is me picking up the podcast again. To the quick listen to get myself back up to speed. I paused the recording last night. I think I was just a bit too tired to do it justice, but I'm feeling a lot better tonight. So let's talk Backdraft. Good evening and welcome to the Backdraft, the Baldcast. Jesus fucking Christ! Hello and welcome to the Baldwin Cast. This is a brand new podcast that I first began way back in the summer of 2015. But after a few false starts, I'm really happy to finally be bringing this to you. In the years since I first attempted the Baldwin Cast, I have had quite the journey, as have the Baldwin Brothers. And it's great to be able to finally sit down with you, the public, and discuss my love of Baldwin Brother movies. This year saw my wife and I actually move out of our family home in High Wycombe and relocate to a lovely little village in the Lake District. A bad phone reception and no shops for miles, but some lovely views in the daytime. At night though, as it is right now, it is so absolutely black outside. You have to take my word for it. So dark, no light for miles in any direction. But here I am, your host, Jim Leggett, broadcasting into the night, talking about one of my favourite Baldwin Brother movies, Backdraft. I do love films that are about fire, actually, always have fire lighting up the sky. It's always an exciting thing to see on film. Like the Baldwin Brothers, of course, are so full of fire, like the glitzy world of expensive Hollywood parties that they attend. So full of fire and life, aren't they? And life as well. So many beautiful women, always on their arms, despite being so fat and old and drinking too much. Not that it's anybody's job to tell you when you've had too much to drink. That's nobody's business. Nobody should tell anybody else how to live their life, should they? That's a God-given right that we have in this country to do whatever the hell we like. And that's what Backdraft is saying to me. It's saying to me, that's why Backdraft is such an excellent entry point into this big, beautiful, burning building that is the Baldwin Brothers. Backdraft. It says, what does it say? It says, look at this big, burning world of Hollywood, full of lights and danger. Look at these fat men fighting it, shouting at it, escaping from it, holding these beautiful, smoke-damaged women with lovely long legs. And yes, of course, some of the Baldwins are escaping from that building with more burns than others, but they're all making it, aren't they? Having that group photo taken together with that lovely little smirk that they do, all of them in a row, looking into the camera like the photographer was an 18-year-old girl caught running from the shower to the bedroom of a youth hostel. You know the look. It's a smile that says, bring it. And every Baldwin permutation has it. In every parallel universe, there's a Baldwin running into that big burning house of Hollywood and looting the star prize. I mean, what a charmed family. I mean, it's no wonder that Daniel was found all those years ago running through the halls of that big hotel in New York, stark bollock naked, shouting, Baldwin, 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 over and over again. The power of that surname is irrepressible. Hang on, I've got to piss. Hello, I'm back. I think I just fell asleep for a little while there. Gosh, though, it is still dark outside, though. So, in conclusion, I give Backdraft 3 stars out of a possible 5. It's a great example of the genre. I mean, I mean, if I have one problem with the film, it's that in real life, you can't see anything inside a burning house. You can't, actually. In reality, it's pitch black inside a house on fire from all the smoke. I mean, that's what they tell me anyway. But, you know, I understand. I understand why they do it. Because you can't put that on the big screen, can you? People wouldn't pay to see that. You know, just people running into darkness.
Imaginary. Advice.